ideology once. Sorry for the interruption. So I hope that all of you are already aware of what eSummit is. But the main ideology is here that you are able to apply whatever knowledge you have gathered in terms of your business acumen to your coding skills. This is where you get to apply it. HackNPitch has been one of the most special events which has been organized under the eSummit with a lot of enthusiasm. And this year we are going bigger and grander. Last year, the HackNPitch was organized at the SMCC building in the Salt Lake campus, and all the participants from across all over east of India, there were at least 15 to 16 different colleges participating, and it was an overnight hackathon of 30 hours. This year, we are doing it for a longer period of time so that you actually get to develop your ideas better, which you will obviously learn over the course of these weeks, and absolutely going over all these checkpoints. There are obviously exciting prizes for the winners at the end, but definitely the journey and the experience is the main part, because here you're going to make a few important bonds and network along the way, which will help you in future, which I can assure you about. So I hope you have a good time hacking and developing your ideas. I would love to see whatever you come up with, and kudos to the team for developing so much, working so hard day and night. Now it's time for you to win the game. Over to you, Shanawaz.
Yeah, so thank you, Gargi. So I would like to start over with like what is a HackNPitch and how the whole thing is actually framed. So yes, you can call it a hackathon, you can call it a business pitch, but actually it is a kind of say hybrid kind of event where you get to learn about skills, you get to develop some technical things, yes, but at the end you also get to think about that thing and plan on how, if you are developing any product, for example, so you get to know and you get to explore how, if you are developing that product for actual market deployment, so how you would do that, how you would plan that, feasible is that in the current scenario. So yes, you actually get to know about real world skills, you get to connect, you get to network with a lot of people, and of course you get to learn a lot by enhancing your skills. Starting off this year's, and it's completely online. The previous year it was an offline event, so yes, it was a kind of one of a kind experience, but this year also we have tried to do as much as we can so that to bring to enable that experience to all of you. And this year we are having actually two rounds. The initial round is the screening or the ideation round, where you will be submitting ideas on the different topics or the different problem statements which we have given. And the theme for this year's HackNPitch is campus and student life. So yeah, there are different problem statements based on that, based on healthcare, based on edtech, based on campus life, and other things. So there is also an open innovation category. But firstly, I would like to mention, like many people also DM'd me on Discord, tagging me, like asking about are we allowed to build on any other things openly or anything. I mean, are we allowed to deviate from the problem statements which are given? So yes, you are allowed to do so as long as it conforms to the problem theme which we have decided, like the campus and student life. So yes, it is a valid submission, but we would like to encourage you to yes keep a focus on the actual statements which we have decided and which we have suggested. But yes, those are only example problem statements. You can take inspiration from that and you can develop more on that, as well as apply your own innovations to make it a deployable prototype at the last. So the first round, in the ideation phase, which started from the 4th of the September and will be continued till the 12th of the September. So you will be required to develop an idea. You will be required to frame your own solution, what you will be developing in the next round. So in this, you will be required to submit your ideation in the form of a template or the submission template, which I will be giving you a walkthrough in the couple of minutes. So once you go through that, you will get to know about what you actually have to present and have to submit in the first round. So yes, let me just share my screen. You will be able to get an idea of what I'm talking about. Yeah, is it visible? Is the screen visible, the submission template here?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, so this is the basic submission template. So we actually require some things which need to be there in the solution which you are submitting in the first round. So yeah, starting with the first one, you need to give your solution a name, which is your default solution name. Then you need to mention your team name and your institute name. I mean, from which institution or university you are participating from. For example, if you are participating from Jadavpur University, just write here Jadavpur University, and elsewhere, then you write the name of the university here. And here in the track name, so what you need to do is we'll be uploading this PPT format or the PowerPoint format in the Discord server, as well as the platform where we'll be taking submissions. So the platform where we'll be taking submissions is the DevFolio platform. So there you need to upload your final edited and the inserted information, that thing, that presentation or the PDF, you may say. So yeah, here you have to just clone this PPT, or you may download it to your machine and just edit these fields. So all these fields are editable. So when you are doing something, say for example, I am preparing something in the edtech. So I'll just write here edtech. So this is my track name and this is my solution name. For example, say my solution 1. So yeah, you will be writing your solution name here. And for example, the title of what you are preparing, and then the team name here, and finally the institute name here. Yeah, then going on to the next slide. So in the first slide, none other things are required to be filled, only these 1, 2, 3, and 4 things. Going on to the next slide, you have to fill in your team name here. So yeah, insert a text and just fill in your team name. For example, say the demo team, then the institute name, and finally the individual team members' names. And moving on to the next one, I mean the third slide. So here you have to present the functionalities of the product which is under development, or which you are planning to develop for the next phase. For example, here we have mentioned some pointers, starting off with like what is the product's USP. So you have to mention, say for example, you are planning on building some kind of say an app where you can let your friends who are present in the campus connect with each other. So for example, what would be the USP of the product? So I mean, what would be the unique selling point of the product? I mean, why is your product actually unique? So you have to mention that in points. So there is no strict format you have to conform to, but yes, these all points should be there, should be present in the whole thing you are mentioning. You can also present it in the form of a paragraph. Below it, you can insert any text, or you can also present it in the form of a question answer format, anything. So you are open to that. You can freely decide which way you want. And in the second point, there is what is the technology used in the product? Are there any licensed tools being used or not? So yes, when you are developing something, when you are developing some kind of website or app or something, so yeah, we need to use different kinds of tools. For example, some tools are open source, I mean, which are openly licensed, and which I mean, we can use freely without obtaining any special kind of license. So those are the open source tools, and some kinds of tools are there for which we need to, for example, buy something, or for which we need some license before using that in our solution. So those things you have to clearly mention, like what all the things are there which you have used in your solution. And lastly, you have to mention how easy is it to scale the product to any new template. Say for example, today you are building some kind of, say, a Facebook for your campus. So say someday later down the lane, you have to integrate it with some other bigger application which you may have developed. So how much, I mean, say for example, you need to integrate that in some other thing. So how easy is that? How feasible is that? Where you can integrate, and how easily can it scale to a large number of users? How what is the capabilities of your product? So there, those things you have to mention here. I would suggest, do not unnecessarily, I mean, stretch your text and all those, fill everything. I would like to mention that yes, put all the points you would like to mention, but yes, strictly in a bullet points format would be very easier for us to evaluate, and for you also to, I mean, draft the whole thing. Then coming on to the fourth one is the product specifications. So you need to mention the technical and the physical specifications, what all the features that your product or your solution is actually having. Say for example, you are building some kind of app, which I mentioned, say for a small version of, say, a social network for your campus. So what are the specifications? Say for example, people can chat with each other, so individual chat module is there. Then like they can video call with each other, so that module is there. Say for example, then there are different feeds where they can post different info. So these are the kinds of different specifications which are there. So these are the technical and physical specifications. You can also mention down. This is quite linked with the USP thing, but yes, here you will be detailing about all those features which may be common with other competitors or maybe unique some kind of. So yes, product specifications is USP plus all the other features which you are mentioning. And what was USP? It was basically all those points which so in the USP thing, it is basically all those points where which makes your product unique from all the competitors which are present there currently in the market. Then coming to this, the product limitations. So what are the limitations your product is currently having? I mean, say for example, your product cannot or your solution cannot currently adapt, say for example, the faculty members, it is only suited for the students. So yes, mention that thing. And there may be other limitations also, for example, some infrastructural limitations as well as some other feature oriented limitations. So just mention those things here. What are the limitations which your products, I mean, for your solution may face? So not just do not treat it like yes, the less limitations you prefer, the more strong will be your submission. So no, this isn't the way that it works. In fact, it may happen that yes, the one who lists down the more number of limitations, it is actually analyzed as that person is able to analyze his or her solution more through a more clearer aspect than the others. And then coming to the architecture, yes, so this is the main thing, or you may say the heart of the whole problem solution submission, this presentation. This architecture is basically a flow. You may treat it like a flow diagram, like what are the different modules or the different components in your app or your solution which you are building, and how are those things actually connected, what are the different things you are using. You may use some cloud infrastructure, you may use some for example, some kind of application, some kind of app modules, you may use some external libraries, some kind of database, some kind of cloud deployments and all those things. So yes, you have to mention like how other things how those things are connected actually. So this comes under this architecture. I mean, it is basically a flow diagram by looking by having a single glance, which people can actually judge how the whole thing is working. So yes, this is the architecture. And then coming on, there is the brief on the programming module. Yes, so when you are building some kind of application, or for example, a mobile app, maybe a web app or something, so actually the whole thing is done in code. So yes, programming languages behind the scenes, and the software modules will be there. And then coming, there are the different cloud solutions you may be using if you are considering any deployment. So deployment means like pushing it to production, like where people can use it. Like for example, I have developed an app and I have posted it to the Play Store. I have deployed it to the Play Store where people can actually use it. I mean, it is available for public downloads. So yes, that is known as a deployment. And you can also do that, but it is not a necessary thing for the submission. But this programming language and the software modules which will be built, these two are the necessary ones. So just mention this in points here. You may also use paragraphs. And then coming, this is the last slide or the last pointer, which is the execution plan. So here you have to mention like, say this 4th to 12th September is the ideation phase. So here you will be basically ideating on the whole product. You'll be planning what all other things you are going to build in the next phase. So this is not the phase where you will be actually writing code, you will be building solutions, but this is the phase where you will be planning and you will be prototyping things. You will be like building, for example, a mock-up. Say, for example, you go to Paint, or you may go to some kind of say PowerPoint, you build a basic mock-up or a wireframe, you may say a demo of what you are actually going to build via code. So that thing you have to mention here. That is the execution plan. I mean, how the things would actually proceed. Say in the first 2 days, you will be building the basic prototype. In the second days, you will be building on the UI or the user interface things. And say from the third day onwards, you'll be building on different APIs, you'll be integrating things, you'll be building, for example, connecting different services, as well as you will be preparing for the deployments and all those. Then you may be using different other services also in your application, which may be open source and it may be licensed. So yes, it is basically the timeline of how you are planning to, I mean, prepare your prototype or solution in the next phase. So that you have to mention in brief here. Say and also we would be happy if you could mention, I mean, the team members and what would be their specific roles in this whole thing, which would run from the 14th to the 24th of September. say for example, you have person A who is specialist in UI designing. So just write there that yes, this person is in my team. He will be specialist in UI designing. He'll be working on the prototype. He'll be developing the designs from this date to this date. So our overall plan. Then person B comes in. He would, fine tune those things, and he would be actually turning those designs into code. Then person C comes in, who is in your team only, and what he does is he actually links different services and finally makes it ready for testing. And finally, when person D comes in, he actually tests the whole thing, and he may improve on suggestions, and he may be actually the planner, or he or she may suggest that what are the different limitations which may come up, and you all can also discuss on that. So yes, just give us a timeline on what are the things you are doing and who all are responsible for for whatever the specific things are. So yes, this was all about the submission template. So this is the basic format in which you have to submit what you are actually planning to build. And for the next phase, when you'll be actually submitting code, for that we'll be having a separate submission guidelines where you will be having to build the thing. You will be having to push the code to GitHub. We'll be also giving you some guidelines on how to do that. Also, you can do is like you can develop it on your own machine. You can also upload a zip file, and also you have to mention a readme, a small document about how to execute that, or how to get that up and running. So that is those are the things related to the guidelines of the next round. But for this round, you have to you have to do basically is you have to fill this whole submission template about what is the idea you are planning and how you are planning on achieving those things. So this is the thing for this first round. It is basically composed of 8 slides here, but yes, you can also stretch it to 10, but do not go above 10, because what we need is a brief and concise explanation, or a brief and concise presentation of what is the solution and how you are planning to achieve those goals. So we'll be actually shortlisting some ideas based on this whole submission template. So yes, it matters how beautifully and how concisely you can present your whole solution here, and the entire judgment depends on it. Because you may be thinking on various things, but ultimately it comes to the point that yes, how beautifully you are able to present it, and it only carries points based on that. So yeah, just don't hurry up, and start building and start filling this solution template in time. Just not like we'll be planning for the end days, and on the last day we'll be sitting and filling up the whole thing. Because from my personal experience, I am saying that yes, that is a bit of hurry, and actually you are prone to missing various things which you may have planned, but at the last moment you actually forgot, and finally it makes your solution presentation weaker. So yes, start planning ahead in time and finish it before any last minute hassles come up. And for the support thing, yes, the Discord server which we have built is basically only to help you guys out. So yes, we'll be there with the roles event staff. We'll be available at all times. If any issues come up, you can immediately ping any of us. You can tag us, and you can just put in your questions in the Ask HackNPitch channel, which is present there. Also, you can put up any of your suggestions there in the different general announcements and all those. So in the announcements thing, you will be actually getting in the different alerts and the different the guidelines on what are the things we are planning and what is coming up next. So just keep an eye on the announcements channel, as well as just for your support and guidance. You can at any time you may reach out to the Ask HackNPitch channel. So there's no time bound guidelines, say like only from 9 to 5 we're available. You can just ping up anytime. If anyone is available, he or she will surely try to assist you. So yes, now I would just hand over to Swadesh. So Swadesh is from our team. So he's from DevHub. So he'll give you a walkthrough of like how the whole thing will go on. And yeah. So over to you, Swadesh. Yeah.
Thank you. Let me just share my screen. Right. So I guess you can see my screen, the window, the HackNPitch window. So basically, I'll give a brief about all the things that you should be knowing about things that we have planned for you. And so, as you can see, as Shana's already told, that our theme for this HackNPitch will be campus and student life. And the tracks here are the campus care. Then we have healthcare, fintech, edtech, and miscellaneous. So basically, we have given certain problems that we have found under all of these tracks, and you can just go through them. The possible add-ons. So we have also shared what could be added to the main application, and then you can add anything else that you want to. It's not limited to this only. So just go through this, and as Sana already said, that we want to have open innovation, that where you will have your own topic, but it has to be under campus and student life. So that will come under miscellaneous. So, and then the timeline. So from September, 4 September will be, you already started with the brainstorming. We have already shared with all the tracks, and you have started your brainstorming, and then 12th, you need to, by 12th, you need to submit all your ideas. There will be one submission per team. So make sure that you are ready with everything, and the submission will be on day folio. And from 13th to 24th, we'll be having the actual hackathon where you will start coding. And in between, from 12th to 13th, we'll sorry, from 12th to 14th, in between that, we'll announce the qualifiers. So basically, we want you to go through your idea, to write that down in the PPT and submit it, so that we know that you are interested in this, you're interested in this hackathon, that you want to pursue an idea. And that is why we have made this phase compulsory of submitting your ideas, right? So from the 14th to the 24th, you'll code, and on 25th, you'll have pitching, and it will roll over on the 26th, after which the final results will be declared. And in between, we do have a few events. Let's say from on the 8th, we have one of our speakers. We are trying to line up more speakers so that you get to know more about a lot of the technology that is coming up, that is being used in the industry. And also we have a session with APIs. So those of you who don't know APIs, it's used for, let's say you have the backend, you have the front end, but how do you communicate with the backend, right? How does the front end communicate with the backend? So for that, we use APIs. And the most common name, the ubiquitous name in APIs that every developer knows is Postman, right? So they are an organization that help to handle APIs, that help to test APIs. And as you can see here, I have Postman. Oh, okay. So I'll just, yeah. So this is one of our sponsors as well, Postman. And one of their team members will be joining us and going through that. So do join in that event as well. And during the hackathon also, we'll be having one day where we would have a checkpoint, and you will go through your ideas, how much you have covered. It will be in between, say 14th, 24th, we'll be giving all the details about that. And that is when you will have to at least complete your work, half of your work at least, so that you are in time and you can submit the code properly, right? So, and the prizes. So firstly, we have internship offers. So coders and non-coders, everybody will get internships for the first, second, and third prizes. And then there's DigitalOcean cloud credits. So these are quite useful. So DigitalOcean offers many services. You can just check them, and you'll see, you can deploy, you can run through many testings, and then there's many more. So then there's Wolfram Award worth $185. There will be swags and t-shirts, ebooks from Rosenfeld, and DApps. So there was a question, there were many questions regarding DApps and what is DApps. So DApps are decentralized apps. That is, they are made using the blockchain technology, and they will be decentralized. So let's say you know about, everybody currently knows about Bitcoin, about Ethereum and all that stuff. So basically, what are they? They are just technologies in which there is no one particular agency, but there are many nodes who are mining all these coins. So how are they mining? They are approving transactions and then they are getting rewarded, right? The whole idea about DApps I can't explain to you right now, but you can go and check our different channels that where we have given resources to check on Tezos, on Celo, on Filecoin, Ethereum. And so if you can build your apps over these technologies or that provided by Tezos, Celo, Filecoin, and Ethereum, then, and if you if you do complete it and win, then you can win direct cash prizes of all this. And also you can get a grant opportunity so that you can continue it beyond the hackathon, right? So then there's also Polygon along with us. So all the resources are shared. If you have any questions still, then you can ask us on Ask HackNPitch. Shana's already, and this is all from the archives. Right? Any FAQ? So guess you have read through that. And so basically that's it. I guess I discussed everything that was required. Shahnaz, would you like to mention anything? Or let's move on to DevFolio website, right?
Yeah, thanks for this. So that was a good overview, I think, of the whole thing. Yeah, so I would like to once again share my screen and give you an overview of how you would put in your submissions. We are actually taking in the submissions from the DevFolio platform, which is quite reputed for actually managing and organizing hackathons, and it helps in the seamless organizing as well as filtering solutions. So some of you may have heard the name DevFolio if you all have participated in at least one or more hackathons previously. So just a second, I'll be sharing my screen.
Okay, just addition to what I was saying, that it doesn't have to be a DApp, that is a decentralized app. You can build your own apps using your own technologies. It's just an addition that one of our sponsors is sponsoring all the prizes, and I guess it's a good opportunity to learn new technologies. So that's all that I need to say.
Is my screen visible? Just let me know once.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, just we'll be giving you the link, of course, but yes, you can also navigate from, you will go to devfolio.co. Then you will see here hackathons in the top bar. Just click there. So scroll down, here is HackNPitch. Just click on apply now. Then it will be a form is coming, fill in your email. So I'll just fill in a demo email. Then you click on sign up and continue. Yeah. So firstly, I would like to mention, like in the DevFolio platform, each of your teams would require all of the participants present in that team to create their individual DevFolio accounts. Only then you will be able to submit the solution as a team. So what you'll be doing is each one from every team just log on to DevFolio, search this HackNPitch, and move there and just create your own account and click on apply now. Then this kind of window will come up where you will see this submitting your application will share the following with HackNPitch organizers. So just accept it and click continue. Then your personal and profile details will be automatically filled up coming below. So a few required fields will be asked. So the first name, you'll be filling your first name. Then just write your bio, I mean a brief about you and your team. So what are the things you are planning and these things? You can write a brief about that, not necessary. Then just put in your gender. not necessary once again. Then coming down, you can also, so this is basically required because to fill in and complete your personal info. So this is in no way related to your submission, but yes, to complete your profile on DevFolio, you need to do this. Then coming down, here are the actual questions related to the submission of the hackathon submission, the first round. So initially you have to provide your GitHub profile link if it is available. So since I am sure every team may be having at least 1 or 2 developers in your team, so they may be having, or they should be having, their GitHub profile URLs. So ask them to fill in this. Then coming here, you will fill the university name. I'll just fill up Jadavpur University here. Then yeah, so when the team leader so as I said earlier, all of the members from each team would require to sign up here in the Folio portal. So each one will create their accounts and each one will go through the same steps, but this checkbox is only for the team leader. So when the team leader is completing his or her profile, so he or she will just check this as the team leader and will proceed down. Then only the team leader will upload the idea presentation or that thing we have mentioned. So you have to submit, that filled presentation template in the PDF format here with a maximum size of 5 MB, not more than that. So sometimes it may happen that yes, your solution, the presentation template moves more than 5 MB. So you can use different online tools to reduce the size. There are many available. I can also list down those and help you out in the Discord server. I'll just mention about how to scale down the size of the presentation template. So using that, you can scale down the size. And then finally, you have to upload your PDF here, the PDF format of that filled up presentation. Then coming down below, it will ask about how does your idea incorporate any of our partners, Tezos, Polygon, Cello. Actually, the list is incomplete. Here will be IPFS and Filecoin also. So you can also, if you are, using those things, and if you are building on top of those things any decentralized apps, then you will just check this. Yes, we have done. Even if you have used one or more of these, just check this. And then lastly, you will just fill in the title of your solution. Say, for example, I mentioned, say, Campus Care app. This is the title of my solution. And say, for example, all in one solution for students. So this is a title of my solution. I'll just fill in here. And then finally, after doing this, I'll be proceeding. So yeah, unless and until I complete this thing, I won't be able to proceed. So yes, I would ask all of you to just complete your profile and then finally proceed with the submission. So just right here, I am developer. This is a demo bio. Then next, this is okay. So just fill in your, what describes you best front-end developer, or what are the things. I just make it back-end developer, for example. Then these things are optional, not mandatory. Then just create here, add new profile. I can also add my link. Just I'll add a demo link. Sample profile link, yeah. Then contact details. So just fill in your city, your phone number here, and you can verify your email address. And then finally you can click here and finally, you can complete your profile. After that, what will happen is you'll be seeing this button enabled, join or create team. So when you will be clicking on this button, say for example, the team leader is creating his account or his or her account. So firstly, he will be prompted, create a team. So he'll create a team, he'll fill in the team name and a unique code will be generated. And I would suggest that you follow this order. Initially, only the team leader first signs up and he creates the team, and finally following that, other team members then sign up one by one using that team code. So in this way, like other team members will be able to join that individual team which respective leader has created, and finally your solutions will be under the same team name. So yes, it may sound a bit overwhelming since I mentioned all of the steps at once. So no issues regarding that. So this is basically a formality, or the format of the submissions. So if anyone is having any issues in filling up this, just ping me, or any of the other event staffs who will be there on Discord will be helping you out about how to do then complete this. But yes, all the information, all the steps are mentioned here. I think you will be able to do it. But still, if any of you face issues, just ask for help and we'll be there. All right. And finally, you can submit your application. So as a team, then it will go for the, review thing. And finally, we will be able to see what are the team names which are selected for the next round. So those are the things, which will be coming up next. But initially, you will know how to initially submit your solution, and so that it gets accepted into evaluating in the first stage. So this is it. Yeah. So just I would like to ask if any of you are having any questions, you can just write in the chat. Yeah. Yeah. So open to all. You can ask your questions in the chat, or you may also.
There were some questions. I'll just read them out.
All right.
So
All right. Yeah.
first is, will the PPT be shared with you? Obviously, it will be shared in the Discord server.
Yeah.
Second is it mandatory to build an app? No, by app we mean a website, that is a web app or a mobile app, anyone which you choose. And I guess, yeah. So those were the questions. And for a prototype,
Yes.
we have to use the given template, or can we make few additions? Obviously, you can make any additions. Just make sure that it's under 10 pages, and you answer the questions that we have asked. It doesn't have to be direct answers. Just make sure that they're there.
So if I know many are here, from different teams, yes. So you may be having any individual questions. So I would encourage you all to like ask what all you are having any questions, because like down the lane you'll be the ones who will be submitting the solution. So like clear your doubts here itself. It will be better since we are interacting live with you all rather than like texting on Discord. So yes, I
Yeah.
would like to request everyone to just put in your questions. We'll be keeping it open for the next 2 to 3 minutes. If no questions come up, then I think we can end here. Are anything left to mention, Swadesh?
No, I guess not.
Are we
There's a
forgetting anything?
question, Shanas. Yeah, there's a question that will they have to submit the code through GitHub account, right?
No, not at all mandatory. So yeah, if any of you are having their GitHub accounts,
they will submit a link.
Yeah, so like yes, we basically need the submissions in whatever format it is. So you can upload a Google Drive link, you can upload a GitHub link, you can also place, anything. But
it will be better if
just
it's GitHub, because
it will be better if it's
easier.
GitHub, since it keeps the whole code organized and we can get to know the whole thing. So yes, we'll be preferring GitHub, but yes, any way in which you can make the solution reach us is okay with us.
Also, if you don't know how to make a README, so just search for how to make GitHub README, and you will get tons of examples how to make those, and that won't be a much of a problem. It is just basically a text where you write everything down. Right.
So Shubham is having a question like, if me and my teammates have different college, then what should we fill in PPT as college name? Yes. So if you are having different college names, just fill in the institution of which your team leader is a part of. So that will be fine. You can also put in, 2-3 college names if are there by comma separated values. But yes, we would suggest keep a single institution name of which your team leader is a part of.
Okay, there's a question: how many teams will be selected for the hack? It is not like we are selecting the top 30. It is like, are you interested in this hackathon or not? And basically, that is the point of this phase. Are you able to have an idea and create a PPT where you can showcase your idea? It is about judging your strengths, about if you can do that or not. Okay.
Yes. So like HackNPitch is not about just filtering of the solutions or any, it is not like any knockout, any general knockout thing. So we would like to encourage all the ideas which are capable of deploying in the real world and like which are capable of turning that thing into a prototype. So yes, all the teams which are putting in a lot of efforts, it will be obviously visible through the submissions which you guys make, and using that we'll be evaluating. So there's no limit on the number of like people which will be qualifying to the next round.
There's a
So
question.
all the
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So yes, all the good solutions which are capable of being deployed as a product or prototype will be getting a chance to qualify in the next round. So Bitan is having a question. A team leader is the person who registered it, right? Yeah. Yeah. So the team leader is the person who registered for the event. Like this is not compulsory. I mean, you can change your team leaders too. Ultimately, the submissions which are made on DevFolio are the final ones. So yes, any of you can also swap your team leaders at any point of time, but just don't forget to mention it on the DevFolio. So you saw that there was a a checkbox kind of where you would mention that is the person who is registering is a team leader or not. So when the team leader just signs up for the DevFolio thing, so he or she should check that while registering or submitting the solution. And yes, only the team leader will submit the PDF of the submission thing, the filled in submission template. Others will also be seeing the option, but they won't be, I mean, we won't suggest all of them to fill up. Only the team leader will fill up the submission template while making the final submissions. Yes. So any more questions?
Yeah, there were a few other questions. I actually disconnected. If you have any the questions that you sent me, could you just send them once more so that I could know about them? I'm sorry.
Should all the members have GitHub? Bitan is asking, should all the members have GitHub accounts? No, not at all. It is not at all compulsory. So we would, since you are developing something, so we expect that at least the developers or the coders in your group should be having a GitHub account. But yes, again, it is not at all compulsory. It is suggested to keep a GitHub account because you will be familiar with all those things, how it works. Okay, so Krishna is asking, how much is the idea of generating the revenue important or development of app or website is important? So yes, good question. So I would take it in two parts. So the second part, which is the development of the app or website, is one part, and the other part is the, feasibility of it turning into a valuable prototype, which you may convert into a revenue generating solution in, some days or some months or some years down the lane. So initially, since now you were basically developing the solution, so the second part is only the important one, which is, how strong your solution is, or how smooth and seamless your solution is, or any app or website which you are building. So right now, like, it is not at all needed to like focus on how much revenue it would generate and all those things. But yes, keep focused on how unique your solution is and how important. Say for example, you built a solution which is already there and built by, for example, 10 or 12 startups and companies right there. So that solution will ultimately be undervalued. It would not stand that much apart if it isn't carrying any special USP which would empower it. But as long as your solution is a unique one, it is solving some unique values, and finally it is of some use to the consumers of the solution, it is considered a, suitable or a valued prototype. So the generating revenue and the business aspects of that thing is the second part, which will come up in the next round. So yes, you can also think of it because the two things are already connected. A strong solution and a unique solution will obviously get a chance to be turned into a deployable prototype. Yeah, Tanmoy Dey is asking, what if a team has no experienced developers? Yeah, so since HackNPitch is actually a hackathon, so we would suggest like get in some developers, because at last you have to write code. The designing, prototyping, those things are there. They are important, but ultimately to present what solution you are building, basically. So for that thing, you have to write code and you have to gather in developers. So not, I mean, that much experience, but the actual charm of the hackathon is like you get to learn along the pathway. So not being so much experienced is a basic requirement. You can, like, all the developers present in your team may have some basic experience. You all will learn down the lane. We are also having some interesting workshops planned up, so they would also help you get an exposure to the different things which will be useful to you in building your solutions. Coming up next, Soham is asking a question: can we get some documentation for DApp or any sort of documentation from the sponsors? Yeah, so it is already there. Just head over to the Discord channel or the Discord server. So you will see there is a category named DApps. So there is the Polygon, Tezos, Silo, and Filecoin. 4 channels are under it. You will head over to each channel. There are different resources are given. So the details are also given. The judging criteria are given, and the how the whole thing works and how you can integrate those things into your solution. So all the details are provided there. So whichever DApp infrastructure you are trying to incorporate in your solution, you can refer to that thing. I mean, it is a complete documentation kind of which would help you to develop your solution. Also, many example applications built on those things are also given there. I would suggest, like, yeah, many people actually build on different things, but they don't, I mean, incorporate these DApps or decentralized apps thing. But since it is becoming, I mean, a powerful point of thing in the development scenario, so I would suggest and encourage all of you to, yes, take up the DApps challenge and win big, because at least you will be learning something different throughout this hackathon. And the main aim of HackNPitch is like to give you all a lifetime experience where, I mean, you all will get to learn, you all will get to connect, network, and ultimately develop yourselves. Then Sachin is asking, will the final application be submitted by the team leader only? But all the team members are supposed to log in. Yeah, so the final application will be submitted by the team leader only. But before doing that, other team members will have to sign in and have to join the team using the code which the team leader has generated while creating the team. So that thing is done. So also we'll be showing in, we also upload a short video of the entire demo submission where we will build a demo team, and we'll be showing you how the whole submission thing goes on. So that is at the end of the, I mean, by the end of this week, we'll be showing on. By the around 10th of September, we'll be uploading a video of the entire walkthrough of how the submission is made. Then Tanmoy is asking basic, okay, it is related to a previous question. So when we need to put our roles in our teams to show you. Didn't get you, Prasoon, what you were trying to say. I mean, when we need to put our roles in our teams. I mean, roles, if I am not getting it wrong, you mean like the roles, I mean, different people will be performing on different things. So just write it down in the submission template thing. There are separate space for that, where you have to mention like what is the execution plan. So you can mention there like what all roles different people in your team are playing. Then Rishabh is asking, do we have to make a responsive website? So you are actually asking about a feature thing. Yeah, we all know that a responsive website is better than a normal website. So yes, the responsive website carries some bonus points. Treat it this way. Iqbal
It
Hussain.
depends on
So,
whether you are having
yeah.
time or not. If you have time, then go with it. It would
Yeah, of
be
course. Like
better.
in a
Obviously.
hackathon, the evaluation completely depends on what all innovation and value your solution and prototype carries. Then Iqbal is asking, so in this first period before 12th, we have to submit our ideas in a PPT format. Only the team member must submit it. Yeah. Yeah. So the team member, I mean, the team leader will actually make the final submission. But before that, all of you will join the team in Devfolio by creating your individual accounts. And the uploading thing, it is not in a PPT format. You will be filling in the PPT, but finally just convert the file format from PPT to PDF. We'll be providing online links for that, where you can take help in converting the file format if you are facing any issues. Yeah, I think that's the end of the FAQ list. Anyone else is having any question? I think not. Yeah. So, okay. So yeah, the Discord server is open 24/7. So you can reach out to us at any time. We'll be more than happy to help you and assist you throughout this entire period. And all the best to you all. Just build amazing solutions, prototypes, and just, I mean, just let your innovation flow and build amazing solutions and finally submit. And yeah, another important thing I would like to mention is like while filling in the submission template, that PPT, don't put in a lot of pictures. I mean, in the architecture thing, I would suggest that yes, put in a picture. I mean, the whole representation of how the whole thing works and how the modules and the services are connected. But regarding the other things, don't put in a lot of pictures. That just provide in some bullet points or some pointers regarding the whole thing which is mentioned there, respective of different pointers which are present there. But unless it is utmost important, don't put in a lot of pictures and make the whole presentation cluttered. So Naveen is asking, can we change our team leader now after signing the team in Devfolio? You can change,
After
but in
Devfolio.
that case you have to, yeah, I mean, after signing in the team in Devfolio, yes, after creating a team in Devfolio, until you make the final submission, you already, I mean, you always have the option of like dumping the team. I mean, you can at any time you can dispose the team, you can delete the team, and you can create a separate team. So yes, if you are planning on changing the team leader, so just delete the team and ask any other person from your team to create a team. Shaurya Shikhar Ghosh is asking, do we get any extra marks for deploying? Okay, just I'll stop the recording once.